Hello everyone, here Leilani Torres, your artistic swimming mentor, and today we will start with section C for the youth figures and last four figures. So the beginning of the last four figures of the draft of the rule book. I repeat, it's a draft. Everything that I have been doing so far is just give you tips on how to start working on them. So I felt like giving some contribution with tips on how to perform them. Okay, so this figure is a combination of like 12 and under from last year and 13-15 because it's the straight leg, like Rio straight leg, right? So let's begin. I should be fast with this one. A straight ballet leg is assumed. So from a layout position, that's a transition. When it's in italic, it's a transition, and it goes all the way without going through the bent knee. So it's a straight ballet leg, right? The knee, shin, and toes of the horizontal leg, so this one right here, are drawn along, so the surface of the water to assume a surface flamingo position. So that's from here to here. So I see a lot of people just doing the bent knee and their foot is underwater. So careful with that because it says that the shin and the toe should be also dry. So pay attention to that. The bent leg is straightened to a surface ballet leg double position, right? So to a double. So it's just from flamingo straight. The body submerges to a bagpipe position. So you should show this position, bagpipe position with toes. Oh, sorry. With the toes just under the surface, like I said before in the other barracuda, which I don't know if you noticed, but 13-15 has to train two barracudas this time, the one for the split bracket, right? And this one, right? But every single time, the bagpipe position is just toes under the surface of the water. So careful that you don't let your swimmers go all the way under. If you're a swimmer, make sure that you just go right under the surface of the water, okay? Then a thrust is executed to a vertical position. So this is the from here to here, right? And a spinning 360 is executed at the same tempo as the thrust, okay? Spin, I think it should be spin 360. Anyway, I'm not gonna go into details. Remember that the details will be set on stone on October 3rd, so pay attention to that moment, okay? So let's just look at how are we gonna work on this figure, right? Before we do that, point out that the numerical value, the highest numerical value goes to the spin, right? Up to ankles and then under. So make sure that, yes, I'm not gonna go into details, but that's the controlling the full turn up to the ankles, right? Let's keep going. I'm gonna show you a combination of the videos that are up online. You can push use this as reference. So it's a straight ballet leg up to here, right? And then is the next part of the figure, which is from the ballet leg, the knee is bent, the toe should be dry. Then this one is straight into a double ballet leg, head should be back and kept the line just under the surface, then is up and up to there, right? To ankles and under, right? So my suggestion is on the focus for the first part on using your upper body to lift the leg, right? So just putting a lot of the pressure, a lot of this when young swimmers are starting to do this specific transition, they let all the weight go to the leg, right? They let all the weight sink to this leg. And this is where the weight is coming from. So we need to create some leverage, right? When we push all of the weight to the back of our bodies, from the back, if you want, you can look at 12 and unders for this figure because I explain it a lot. But make sure that you do with jogs, that you put like a board behind the neck or a noodle and put some pressure on it. You can do laps with ballet leg like that. It's a matter of developing the habit of pushing your torso back to create leverage and blocking the hip to keep the left hip dry if you lift the right leg, for example, right? Make sure also that the sculling is really, really close to your hip so that you can support the weight. And careful with the tip of your fingers that they're not facing up, because then you will be moving head first. Make sure that they're a bit round so that you maintain the pressure going towards the bottom of the pool. And then for the barracuda, it is, or for, not that, because we're not doing that, right? For the, no. There, okay. So for this part, just make sure that the foot is dry. So maybe have someone tap the foot so that they are aware of where it is, right? When you stretch this leg out, make sure that you stretch your suit. I always say like the suit is like wrinkle. So then have them think about how much they want to stretch out their suit over the surface of the water so that they keep putting pressure behind them and pressing again towards the heel for the double position. Then for the barracuda, I have already talked about it before. You can visit the barracuda for 12 and under, or the split rocket video. Now, I haven't spoken about the turn or like the spin, and a lot of the swimmers in this part, they, so let's look underwater. They fall short of the spin, right? So what I always try to tell them is to make sure that they keep generating pressure through the hands. Okay, so a lot of swimmers, again, elite swimmers, this Chinese swimmer, she can do it with her own body strength, tension, experience, right? But when you're coaching 12 and unders that just move up to 13, 15, for example, you want to give them tools. So make sure that they understand how to use their body in the air, right? So good exercise, I will put this back up. A good exercise is pulling them up and then dropping them, and you will give a sign, boom, boom, on the foot so that you let them know that you're gonna let go, and they need to continue their body up, spin up with their body strength, with their body tension. And this is a really fun exercise because usually at the beginning they just drop all over the place, but after the second one, they understand how to activate their body in order to do that 360 towards the toes, right? And this is very important so that they can focus when they do the barracuda on that height, and when they do the spin on completing the full turn before the ankles hit, so that again they are separating the efforts there. So I do that. I have them work with paddles. You have heard me before. I have them do it with bottles, letting go of the bottles and continue the spin. I have them push another swimmer from underwater, and they have to get out and they have to spin. So all of this, if you notice, they are all drills to make sure that they develop the sensation of control with their own body, right? So that their arm strength can go into a bit of control and even a bit more height, okay? So let's look at this girl underwater. Let's see. So you see, she hardly uses her, let's look. There you go. So you can see, this is really good. Did you see me how I put it in slow motion? It's great for you to understand how she uses her hands towards the surface of the water. She grabs water from the surface, she pushes through, and then she spins with her body mainly. She has a right hand on top of her head pressing for like a torpedo, but it's mostly use of her body, right? So I hope that you liked today's figure video, and I hope that you saw some details in that video that you can take advantage of. So go to YouTube, put the figure in, watch it in slow motion, copy and paste. Hope you're well. Take care. Let's stay in touch. Bye-bye.